What if I told you there was a man so faithful, so obedient, that God allowed everything in his life to be taken away? Not because he sinned, not because he failed, but to prove a point. His children gone, his wealth gone, his health destroyed, and heaven stayed silent. This is not just a story. This is a warning, a mystery, and for some, a reflection of their own life. This is the story of Job. Before the pain, before the silence, before the questions, there was peace. Job was not just a good man. He was a righteous man, the kind of man people respected, trusted, looked up to. He had everything: wealth beyond measure, land that stretched further than the eye could see, flocks, servants, influence. But more than that, he had a family, children who laughed, who filled his home with life. And every morning, before the world even woke up, Job would pray, not just for himself, but for his children, just in case they had sinned, even in their hearts. That's the kind of man he was. Not perfect, but devoted. And God saw him. But while Job lived in peace on earth, something was happening in heaven. A conversation between God and Satan. "Have you considered my servant Job?" God said it with confidence, as if he already knew what would happen. But Satan answered, "Does Job fear you for nothing? Take everything away, and he will curse you to your face." And in that moment, God allowed it. Not forced, not caused, but allowed. And Job had no idea. It didn't happen slowly. It happened all at once. A messenger came running. "Your oxen are gone." Another one. "Your sheep burned in fire." Another. "Your servants killed." And then, the one message no parent should ever hear. "Your children, they're gone." In a single day, Job lost everything. Everything he built, everything he loved, everything he lived for. Gone. And heaven said nothing. But it wasn't over. His body began to fail him. Pain from head to toe. Wounds that wouldn't heal. Nights without sleep. Days without peace. He sat in ashes, scraping his skin, trying to find relief. And still, no answer. Then came the voices. His wife. "Why are you still holding on to your faith? Curse God and die." And his friends, they didn't comfort him. They accused him. "You must have done something. God wouldn't allow this for no reason." And slowly, doubt crept in. "Why, God? What did I do? Why won't you answer me?" This is where most people break, not in the pain, but in the silence. And then, God spoke, not with an explanation, but with a question. "Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Can you command the morning? Can you control the stars?" One question after another, not to shame him, but to remind him that he was not in control. And suddenly, Job understood something deeper. Faith was never about having answers. It was about trusting God, even when there are none. Sometimes, God will allow pain, not to destroy you, but to reveal a level of faith
you didn't know you had. And if you're in a season where heaven feels silent, maybe your story isn't over yet.